Amolan P. Nathani. The second speaker is a NABARD man, and he has, his BE Agricultural Engineering, then MBA, and he has 38 years experience in NABARD, and he retired as Deputy Manager, Managing Director of NABARD, and looked after all finance, IT, and risk management area. And he is on the board of a number of organizations, and a very experienced person. He is other committees also member Niti Aayog committee to integrate commodities, spot market with derivative market, and then he is member of RBI committee on agriculture credit, chairman committee on listing of Grameen banks, and then chairman committee on risk-based supervision for rural financial institution. Dr. Nathan, will speak on other parts, that's commercial viability and solar pumping system, etc. Now I request Dr. Amal to start his presentation. Dr. Amal, please.
Thank you, Indramani ji, for your introduction. I would like to speak from the demand side. Okay, because I'm not a technical man as you all are, though I'm basically qualified in agricultural engineering. But I am very keen to see the application side of the solar energy. A few pilots were done by NABARD earlier. For example, we have piloted these solar operated boats, fishing boats, and it was quite successful for about 5 boats we have financed in Kanyakumari area, and it was quite successful in operating the fish boats through the solar energy. And also we have I think one of the biggest projects we have financed in Chhattisgarh. 1 lakh solar pump sets were given, which I happened to visit, and I also learned what are the issues there. And we also look for some of the pilots which are successfully done. I heard and I have seen some of them, but it's not scaling up to the level that is expected of them. For example, the vegetable vendors in the cities using the push carts. So they need a kind of a solar operated, solar powered system so that the vegetables can be kept cool. And I have seen the people who are selling ice creams using the freezers with the application of solar energy. And also now we are talking about the market, the market access to the farmers. And after completing the primary processing at the farm level. So there is a lot of application that can be developed through the solar power, like winnowing, drying, and etc. Many of you are agricultural engineers, what are the applications that are required to be done, conducted at the farm level, so that all cleaning process takes place at the farm level itself. So this has to be miniaturized to the farmer's requirement at the level, and if it is portable, it is all the more good, because somebody can rent it out like your tractors. They can rent out these equipments for the the primary processing facilities that can be done. And we have also utilized the solar energy in remote areas for operating banks, especially the ATMs in inaccessible areas. When we all went for digitization of banking operations, we found challenging in some of the northeast areas and also in Andaman Nicobar, where the electric penetration through the normal grids are very less. So we have put up the solar powered the systems there. So, and all these require, even now, HUDCO the other day contacted me to, how do we help the vendors, the street vendors in the cities? So one of the things is that, to infuse this kind of a technology to them in a sustainable manner. And very important in this is that we need to have a system which is small enough, efficient enough within the reach of the people. A different type of people which are going to use this, as I was telling you, and projectize this so that the government can come forward to support it in a larger scale. succeeding at a pilot scale at the universities or institutional level is something which is different from this, because all these bigger operations also do require maintenance and the monitoring systems, etc., which may be beyond the what we call the institutions concerned. So what we try to do is that we develop a kind of an employment opportunity for minimal maintenance operations of this once this is scaling up all these things. So this is what I find the applications are quite large and which is much more demanding. A lot of opportunities for the new entrepreneurs coming in into this area. And also we have also financed some of the generation units, bigger units actually speaking, as a strategic investment. And there the main issue is more operational, nothing technical about it. But during the important times, the evacuation is not happening. So with the results, the viability calculations go haywire. So if the evacuation is not there after the power is generated because of the demand less or whatever, so that actually puts the entire calculation into doldrums. So viability becomes problems, and of course there are issues like renegotiation. Some of the state governments which have contracted for the solar power purchase at the higher rates in the earlier years, and before because it's fast developing, the cost is also reducing fast. So the earlier contracts they want to renegotiate. As a financier, once they renegotiate the rates and the viability gets affected, the financing becomes again risky for us. So this is another area that we need to work on. What kind of systems are there? And one more very important thing is the insurance cover for all these installations which are happening at the different places, whether it is small or big, because many of the insurance agencies are not aware about the risks involved in the solar power systems, and many of the times these systems are not insured. So that also puts the risk-taking ability either at the entrepreneur level or the farmer level, all the institutions financing levels puts it makes it difficult. Okay, so and then coming back to irrigation systems, which I have seen in Chhattisgarh, 1 lakh units have been sanctioned, and almost when I visited, it was 30,000 units have been already installed. So there are operational issues. First of all, it was announced by the Prime Minister that there will be a two-way, there will be kind of a power grid, the same supply will be there. When I visited there, most of them, especially in the Chhattisgarh, most of them are used for lift irrigation from the rivers. And the unit which are located nearer to the river, which is far off from the grid. So it becomes too expensive for them to evacuate one power which is generated from one motor, one pump set from farmer's field. So they are not able to lift the power. So it is not financially feasible for even the government to lift it. So all the units which were fitted with all these equipments, two-way equipments and all, it goes waste. This is number one. Number two is because the water, the power is available all the while it is free, the farmers are pumping recklessly. So, a lot of water wastage from saving from power shortage, we saved power, but we wasted water. So that has become another issue. There is no control over the pumping systems, especially in the shallow wells and also the river lifts. People just simply don't bother. And there is no matching, like you said, the previous speaker said that there is no matching between the water requirement of the crops and water pumping. The pumping is constant, irrespective of whatever is required. And there is no system. See, even in Tamil Nadu also, today I was discussing with the people in charge of implementing these, they have not connected the crop with the systems. Because the crop systems, they said that it is more expensive, we have to put the controllers, etc., sensors, for example. So these things are becoming expensive for the farmers, and the government is simply putting the pump sets, that's all. So there is a reckless pumping of water, and there is not even monitoring of the recharges that is happening. So this a drawdown is so great. I'll tell you, everywhere it is going, water depth is going down and down. And they were another thing which they told me is that I don't know, the people who are involved in this, they know better. They need to have a minimum of 6 inches of dia wells for installing the solar thing. Yes. So that becomes actually whatever cost that saved in the capital cost that is they have saved in the power systems, they have to invest in the digging of well of that size. So there is no real advantage over there. So there are issues connected with the 4.5 inch pipe, whatever the drilling that is happening there. They need a 6 inches drilling. That is what they were saying. And there are other issues like in the coastal areas, for example, they have installed the irrigation system with the tracking mechanism. But what happens in the tracking mechanism, as I was told, it is rotating on a single pivot. So during the heavy winds, that is not able to stand. The entire panel is blown away. So that becomes a tracking system becomes very difficult. So now what they have done is they go without a tracking system, etc. One more is that in addition to the daily tracking system, there is a seasonal tracking, what we call the orientation is required. They have to change the orientation depending on the whether it is Uttarayan season or the Dakshayan, this thing, depending on the movement of this thing sun, they have to adjust the panel, what you call the directions. So that also farmers are not aware. They are not training, nothing is there. So they do not know why the efficiency is going down. So because of this, they are not able to fully use this power. Then I told them, see, whenever you are coming across any such shortcomings, you should be able to highlight this to the government so that they also step in and provide necessary extension and training assistance to farmers at large. So successful pumping is one thing. Regular operations, even small operations, should be decentralized to the village level, or we can develop a kind of set of skilled manpower who can do it for the farmers. And perhaps I think my suggestion is that if that is possible, they can give a round kind of a clock type of a thing with a lever, so that every month the farmer knows he has to adjust this orientation to June month like this, July month like this, so that he can do it like a wheel, he can adjust it, and then small training can be given on that. So similar thing, some innovation has to take place so that this is within the reach of the farmer's ability to handle. So that is very important. And then one more issue is about the battery charging, because by and large, the other systems like in the evenings, maybe in the households, they need power, etc. For that, we cannot go in for another one. Can there be a kind of a battery charging facilities that is available so that he can use it for other purposes as well, including the charging of tractor batteries, etc., etc. So this is another very important thing. Which I feel that we have to leverage the existing availability of solar power at the farm level in the irrigation system for other purposes, all various purposes which I told you. We cannot go on installing panels after panel, but with the same panel, whatever power generated, we should use that power as much as possible for the various other farming activities. Then only we can see the full utility and viability of this the unit that we are going to install at the farmer level. So these are all, some of my observations. But government, what happens is they are all subsidy driven. They are given certain numbers, for example. Now here I understand everybody is going for 10 HP, whether they need it or not. So because the government is pumping the subsidies. So we need to give some calibrated things, sit with the government to see how the scheme is formulated. Okay. So I think I require or request the technical, the hands or the IITs and our universities, they should sit with the government, help them to formulate a scheme which is implementable at the farm level. Otherwise, every time we are saying that, last time also somebody talked, so we have so much of technology, farmers are not using. Farmers are saying so much technology is available in the labs, but they are not giving to us. Some kind of a wedge has to be happen. That wedging can happen only from the technical institution side by talking to the government and projectizing how the government can benefit from this and where it is to be. If necessary, some of the entrepreneurs have to be taken together, and then some of the bureaucrats have to be educated on that basis so that it becomes usable and to the farmers at large. Otherwise, many of these applications, whatever you are finding, I mean, seeing it, fantastic. It's appreciable. Everything is there, but it's all in the pilot or prototype or in the labs. So for reaching to the farmers, we need to have a different set of strategy. I think that is to be there. In fact, I told our university here, because now I am retired, I told them that I will help them to how to formulate. There are particular way the government formulates a policy. Perhaps our technical people, we do not know how they are actually formulating policy, because it is Latin Greek for them, because they have a set procedure, etc. Maybe if we are educating the top level people in the departments or in the universities, the method of formulating a policy for the government, it can be translated in a way that government will accept it. So that is more important. Okay, so I think that is somewhere some gap is there between technical and the government policies and the farmers. That is why many of our technologies are not going into this. And more important is that drying this thing. Now, during the small operations at the field level, if they do the primary processing, the price is very high, very sensitive. Small, for example, drying will help them to per kg they get 3-4 rupees more on any grain for that because of the moisture they get less price. So these are all the small things that can be done, and the PV applications are also very important in the so-called the greenhouse the cultivations. Okay, a lot of power is required there also, and a lot of things can be automated there in terms of the water purification, rebalancing of water nutrients, etc. All these things are possible. I know that you all have. When I talk to Dr. Syed, I get really amazed by the kind of technologies that we have. But when we go to the field, I'm really pathetic. We look really bad. We are a very rich country in terms of knowledge, but somehow we are very poor in translating that into the field. So this is my observation, and then any of you can raise any doubts or anything on this, what we can do. And I still have some roles in advisory in various bodies. What I can also do on this, your suggestion also welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nath. Dr. Syed.
Syed, you have to unmute. Syed, we can't hear you.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Amal. I need about 5 minutes. I will take your time. Then we will go for questions. Amal and myself, we have something in common. We come from the same college. Like also, Alagu Sundaram also come from the same college. I think he is 1 year junior to Amal, I think. We have been talking about this for so many years here in Mumbai. And whenever we meet, how we can get these things outside, because what we talk in university doesn't go outside. Now I'll try to put you some facts before you regarding. That's the reason I requested him to talk about solar pumping, because I had been invited to NABARD to talk about IoT. There I heard people from Chhattisgarh telling me the problem directly, online, directly. All the people are telling the problems. From Punjab, I heard the people talking, NABARD, and Chhattisgarh, I heard already. So that's the reason I requested him to give the complete scenario, what is missing link. And fortunately, what our webinar 2 on the tag is trying to achieve that I want to say. I want to come back again to solar. Setu, can you put the picture, please? The number of solar pumps. Setu? Okay. This is I took from Google. Okay. Now you can see, like what he told, this is about on October 2019, very recent, 1.8 lakhs is been already installed, the solar pumps. Now you see, for example, Chhattisgarh is having around 60,000 pumps already installed in Chhattisgarh. Okay, solar pumps. This is actually good intention. I don't think the intention of the government or the bureaucrats are bad. The only missing link is there, because you see, for example, the farmer is not taught what to do with the solar panel. I'll come back to, again, after talking the next slide, I'll come back to the real issues, how it happens from my opinion. Next slide, please. The pricing. Can you give me the pricing? Now, this, Setu, can you put the pricing slide, please? Yeah. One more image is there. Okay. By the time he puts it, I will tell you. The price for 5 horsepower, the solar pump, is around 3 lakhs. And 10 horsepower is about 5.5, 6 lakhs, somewhere around the price. Now, depending on the state government, you get 30% or 50% subsidy. Okay, this is the variation, 30 to 50% subsidy is given. We have an organization which approves all these manufacturers to install there. Okay, and the same organization also does for metering, electrical metering. We all get the electrical metering, now all getting automated electrical metering. So Okay, this is probably the prices. You will see 3 horsepower is coming to around 2 lakhs written there, and 5.9 plus. Actually, it comes to 3 lakhs and around 6 lakhs. So why people are going all 10 horsepower? Because you get more in, say, 50% subsidy is excellent price. You get the pump which is working. Now again, they give the option for the farmer to choose whether it's a DC pump or AC pump. Okay, that's an inverter pump or a normal grid pump. So these are all confusing. Farmer cannot decide. Okay, now the tenders are given, and there is no monitoring system given. Whereas the same agency which gives for metering solutions, for metering your house electricity meter, it's already done. You have to put even LoRa, what I talked about, the technology you have to give, like this, all specification given. But for subsidy items, this is missing. So we have to do something. This is the reason actually Punjab also they told, morning it starts, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, the pump, and goes in the evening, night, it turns off automatically, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. This is a real typical problem. And Chhattisgarh, I remember the people were asking me, sir, there is no way to know whether the pump is working or not, whether problem is there or not. So, like I think monitoring what today's first speaker also told, and Amal also explained, I think monitoring is one of the most important things which is missing. And I think we should make it probably for all the subsidy items, not only for this. Wherever subsidies involved, you see monitoring is not there. 23rd, we talked about even the 4 million, 5 million of biogas plants. You see, where is the monitoring? Where we see this happening is not there. And here also is not there. So I think for photovoltaic has a lot of applications. I know about 2 years back, Bajaj was trying to, you see people, there are a lot of tenders come from the municipalities for solar lights, solar lamps, street lights, solar street lights, 500,000 like municipality. So people approached me to make the solar street lights. So that came the inquiry also to remote places. Remote places, people claim like government, some of the state government claims 100% we are electrified. But actually, when you go and talk to the chief minister, he says only 20, 25, 30% is electrified. So the problem is for them to get the power to the remote areas. It's really existing even today. So PV cells are excellent, but the problem monitoring must be there first. That's one of the my opinion. Now I will, with this few words, I will put it to floor the whole topic. Let's ask the questions, please. Setu, can you turn off the slides? I have anybody wants questions? I'll give first. Yeah, Professor Singh, please.
I really appreciate what Amol told in very simple and straightforward language. I think the real problem is there that yes, you get a subsidy and monitoring. Now there has to be the person who's installing it, the company which is installing has to be given a responsibility of certain period to make it run, whether it's 5 years or 7 years or 10 years, depending upon the product. Like solar pump, if the panel has a 25 years life, at least they should be made responsible to make it 5 years or 10 years or something. Huh? And
Correct.
then in that period, I think the farmer will be able to pick up. Huh?
Singhji, okay, sorry, to interrupt.
No,
this.
Go ahead.
All the projects, there is a kind of O&M period is there. Even for solar, 5-year period is maintained there. Certain amount is taken as a deposit by the government from the thing, and it is paid based on the monitoring systems, etc. But it is all, you know how it is dealt. Okay.
But it's not done in the
Yes.
That's a different. That comes to the question of.
That's why I like to see your word monitoring. Then there will be a kind of a direct.
Secondly, secondly, by and large, everybody is saying the solar system panel life is 25 years. So I tell you, it is not. The strength of it determined by the weakest link. It is not all the components in that is having 25 years. So let us not talk about 25 years, please.
No, 10 years. 10 years, I would say.
I was talking only 5 or 10 years.
10 years. 10 years. 10 years is probably some of the items. 5 years only some of the items. I think he is right.
There is a subsidy scheme in mechanization. A lot of equipment is given. And the government was supposed to find out how effective it has been. And you know that that monitoring part, the evaluation part was reduced to nothing almost, and was done by an agency which is internal kind of thing. So they are not exposed. The idea is the monitoring has to be kind of independent.
Correct.
You
See,
see,
7 or 8. Yeah.
yeah, so I think
Yep.
it has to be a kind of autonomy, providing all the feedback to the government, interacting with the users, and there has to be some agency which can take action. Okay, thank you.
Now there are 5 or 6 companies I saw authorized to give. There are more companies to give these solar pumps. There are big names are there also in that list. I don't want to mention the names, but big names are there. But the farmer, as a farmer, if I buy from it, I am not getting a support. I can't go anywhere because I paid my money. Subsidy they take directly, so I don't get the support. So this is the problem. Like you suggested, probably only solution is the farmers must join together and say, I want a support. Otherwise, don't give them subsidy. And like Amal was telling, 10% is kept to your money. If you have to give 5-year support, 10% in tenders, always 4-5 is happening. I mean, I know for 30 years, I done some government project, 5%, 10%, they leave it as it is. They don't claim. Only if continuous monitoring is there, we can stop this.
Yeah.
I have some questions. Somebody is asking, Robesh Mighty and Murthy last time asked. The Murthy also can come inside. Question?
Yeah, Dr. Amal, you talked about quite a few problems. Thanks. I think we came to know about it for the first time. If you had to select top 3, which our tag team or expert team has to work on, would it be possible now, or you can think about it and tell us later?
See, there are 2 projects which we have wanted actually when I was still in service. I offered it to many of the technical institutions. So I started with the Dr. Syed also. One was the solar cultivation. Okay, the solar crop. So that mainly especially the hard the tropical region, people take a single crop. Sometimes even that fails. So can we have a kind of a 11 feet or 13 feet kind of a panel away from the ground level, so that the panels are arranged in such a way that there should be possibility of cultivating a crop below that. Okay, and then the solar is also supplied to the grid. So even if the normal crop, soil crop fails, the solar crop will give some income to the farmer. This was to be piloted. So we have written to many institutions, there was no response. That is number 1. Number 2, under ENAM, that is market reforms, many of the mandis, there are a lot of processing that has to take place before it is sold off. So can we install a centralized kind of facilities in any particular mandi so that we can experiment it, how the people can benefit from this. These are the 2 pilots. Still, if anybody is interested, I will try to escalate your idea to the respective this thing. Funding is not an issue, but the thing is it should be beneficial in a large scale like this.
This is
Thank you.
Ganti Murthy
Thank
here.
you. Yeah.
So
Please.
this is Ganti Murthy here. Basically, this is exactly the project, Dr. Amol, that we have been doing. Basically, I just recently moved from US, and we are currently running a 3-year project there, and we are into the 2nd year now, growing vegetable crops under the solar panels. Actually, because under the solar panels, you can't really put a big tractor, and because it increases the cost again. So we have been trying to grow vegetables, and it's very successful. And of course, you have to choose the crop very carefully to make sure that it comes out really well, financial viability wise. So yes, I'm interested if that is something that if you can put me in touch with. And then on the other thing, some of the things that you mentioned were that it was the pumping the electricity, basically putting the electricity back into the grid was not really happening. And one of the things that you mentioned was that some of these farmers are putting their pumps near the rivers, which is essentially far away from the grid. Has anybody done anything related to that? And then a second question follow-up on that one was the minimum 6-inch solar power. You mentioned something about 6-inch tube well versus
That is, yes.
tube well. If you can please expand on that.
No, 6 inches, because I'll come. It's because of the manufacturers. They made a standard of 6 inches. That is a problem actually. This is nothing to do with the technology. You can make with any, because the pump manufacturers are there. They join together. 6 inches is standard, which are used, so use that. So that is a problem. But first question, Amal, you have to reply.
Regarding the solar cultivation, solar
Yes.
Yeah, that we can do. Here also, I look forward to some experimentation. Now I'm out of power, but still I can still
Sure.
get the funding for resource for that. We'll experiment that.
Excellent.
We are
And
open.
then, as far as I'm aware, I think Anand Agricultural University, when I visited them 2 years ago for a ISA conference, they actually had about 2 hectares of land, I think, which they were trying to cultivate something like that.
Okay.
Yes,
Sir,
I
that
also
is a
visited
ICRIER
that,
people. I
Thank
tell
you.
you, one of the
Yeah.
directors on our board, he was Professor Gulati Saab, no? Professor Gulati was there in our board, NABARD board. He was trying to get this information, and he also a bit, and nothing happened. Finally, I think somebody in Punjab, they came forward voluntarily. We will do it, and he found a resource from, I think it is RBI or ICRIER Finance one.
Thank you. Dr. Gajan Singh, you raised your hand.
No, there is a project. Actually, there is a big area under cultivation under solar panels near Anand. When we were at the ISA convention, I visited number of us visited that site. So maybe
That's below that there are crops.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they were supplying to the grid also. Yeah.
I think they were growing chilies and corn. I mean, actually, quite a number of crops.
Yeah, there are a number of vegetables they said
Yeah.
they could do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any
Okay.
other small applications which I told regarding fishing boats, drying, and street vendors and all those things?
We will come back afterwards. Amol,
They
please.
also had a storage, cold storage run
Storage
by
unit.
No. We don't understand. It's just storage. I mean, they are moving around during the daytime. वो टहली वाला क्या वो daytime में जाता है वो. So उसके लिए चाहिए बस.
That's a good point. Actually, what he's talking is, Amal, we are not coming to that, what do you call, your area of marketing the crop. I'm going to give one day request to you to enlighten us from the financial marketing and today, I mean, actually, when it's opening up all the mandi system now, how it's going to impact the storage. I think you are one of the best ones I know. I think we'll have some other day, one session for you. So you tell us all the possibilities, because what Amal is talking about, the cart puller going is the end of the mile delivery. End of the mile delivery, his problem, the vegetables. It's again agricultural problem only. We'll come back to the later on. Let me take some other question. Mr. A.P. Ramachandran, you have a question, please?
Yeah.
Short? Yeah.
Syed, yeah. Thanks, Syed. See, one thing I'm very much interested in solar cultivation because, and the other point Mr. Amal was mentioning, I'm more interested on a polyhouse, solar panels for the polyhouse, because our power requirement is very huge, and getting a power for the agriculture we are finding it very, very difficult.
Okay.
So that if you can
Okay.
some details and think it's very much we are interested.
Okay, thank you, Mr. AP. Next, anybody has a question? I think Dr. Bajpai first, then Dr. Indramani. First, Dr. Bajpai.
Thank you, sir. So I have not a question. I just want to add, most of the things have been already covered. In my experience, two things. One is the design related aspect for solar water pumping system I'm talking about. Another is the operational aspect. So from design aspect, my experience is that the design criteria which was being followed by this agency was oversized. And when I show them the technical calculation, mathematical calculation, and they agreed on that, it was found that they were oversizing around 10 to 20% than the actual PV requirement.
More, not 10 to 20.
Even more.
Much more actually.
It may go up to 50% also. So that was the first thing. And second thing, we also thought about, like in our solar power plant, we have two models. One is CapEx and another is OpEx. OpEx is also called RESCO model. So like in RESCO model, the plant is owned by the investor and used by the user, and user pay for the units being delivered of electricity. So here also we can take the water supply as water yield as the output, and based on that flow meter reading or any other reading, we can design the contract.
No, this, agree. But this will come as a entrepreneurship activity.
Yes, right.
So that is a different outlook.
So in that, actually, the performance will be is a major factor.
We will try to see that. Dr. Indramani, your question?
My question was actually to Dr. Prabodh only. And partly he has answered. I wanted to know that all people are speaking, and he is the technical expert from IIT. He has been working on that. What happened, Dr. Prabodh, after all these presentations, we lead to confusion. What to do? Because Amol is saying something, you are saying something, and the purpose of this webinar is to move towards light. Tamso ma jyotirgamay. So how to go from this tamso ma jyotirgamay? Because every time so it can happen, it cannot. The point which Dr. Prabodh raised, that CAPEX model and RESCO model, there is lack of transparency also. Ethical gaps are there. Here where I'm saying in my society, so it established a solar power plant, complete, rooftop solar power plant. So when we invited, I was saying to Dr. Prabodh only, that when we invited, they said you can install 300 kilowatt plant here. So that was our CAPEX. When we said no, we want RESCO, then they said only 80 kilowatt power plant can be established. So this is one gap. That when they have to invest, then they are looking for best location only and leaving all other locations. So okay, we said 80 kilowatt is okay. They give us 50 kilowatt, but we want that you maintain next 25 years. And that we have installed here, it is functioning, it is working. Let us hope that they maintain next 25 years. So that arrangement is there. This is my first-hand experience here. But this one, ethical, I told, once you got CAPEX, then they said 300. You said RESCO, then only 80 or 90 kilowatt. So this is one which we have to really be clear. Then second, we are seeing that what you are talking and what is actually on the field, there is a lot of that. So there is need of networking, So what is in the field and what is in the really lab, and something which you are doing for NTPC. That's why in the beginning I asked, we should have some project with you and some agricultural engineering institution and taking farmers and a joint project where all, hardcore engineering technology, then coming to application part, and then real users should be there, and there should be some in a sufficient area. It's not like that one is small one, you have just a small unit. So that is another thing which I will expect that something should come out from this webinar. And we are, and again, confused. Sometimes people say that what is in your opinion, Dr. Prabodh, that suppose we want to have a unit of solar power generation in the rural area. What should be the threshold label of at the minimum 100 kilowatt, 200 kilowatt, 500 kilowatt? What should be the threshold limit according to you, so that we can make it economical by taking all different uses, including storage. So I would like to be enlightened from Dr. Prabodh.
Sir, the very first point that you mentioned, that when you go for CAPEX 300, when you go for OPEX, it becomes 80 kilowatt. So actually, as per my understanding is, suppose you put a plant in West Bengal and suppose you same plant of 100 kilowatt in Gujarat. So we should understand that the solar installation is not same. So here 1 kilowatt will generate 4 kilowatt of energy per day, and in Gujarat the same plant will generate 6 kilowatt of energy per day. So it is 50% more yield. So that thing should be keep in mind, that they are doing business and they will always see the economical benefit out of it. Second thing is what you said, that when you go for a site and design a project, so we always look for the what is the requirement. We start with the requirement. So if it is standalone unit, we know that the load is this much and this is the profile of the load. So we design as per the energy requirement. But when it is a grid connected, so grid can absorb any amount, means there is no limit, small limit on that. So in that case, we see what is the space available, because we need the space for solar plants. Then comes the technology we use. Now I want to add one more thing. I have an experience of sun tracking system. The sun tracking system increases the output from 10% to 40%, depending upon the technology. Definitely cost is involved, maintenance increases. I had very bad experience actually, I should say. And even recently, because of this Amphan, 2 of my structures have fallen down. which was on the dual access and tracking system, because the design itself is like that. We have to put on a column, and then unfortunately I have put it on the rooftop of 33-story building. So that was our mistake. And anyway, so that is a kind of experience, but definitely it will improve the output. And there are various other technical reasons which I have realized in the operation, like they don't bother about the earthing, they don't bother about the lighting arrestor, they don't bother about the proper wiring while installing such solar water pumping system. Those are also very crucial for the performance point of view. There are some panels which had hot spot. A single panel hot spot may cause the underutilization of the whole plant. So these are the few small things, but that makes the overall performance deteriorate significantly. Okay. So all these things should be taken care of.
Thank you.
Dr. Syed, I would like to ask one question.
One second, wait. Everybody don't talk. Raise your hand, so I will call you. I will ask you. Who is the one? I didn't get your voice. Who want to ask the question?
Syed ji, I wanted to add one thing.
Please.
The thing is, I want to, it's a question to everybody. Have anybody talked to the government regarding the large scale implementation of any of your invention at the farm level? And what was their response? Which government is that?
I think
this is the crux.
This is the problem. This is the crux.
Due apologies to the entire fraternity of agriculture engineering and this scientists. The problem is, once you have a successful product in your hand and you feel that it is going to work, help the entire community, we have to escalate to that appropriate level so that some decision is taken on that. And all knowledge is with you, then what's the use of that? So that is why I'm asking you, everybody, once you have something, please seek some time, sit with the chief secretary or whichever is concerned, try to push this. So the pushing is the one that will make us to reach the technology to the farm levels. And that requires, bureaucrats, they are not going to give easily time. They will say yes, no, they will not understand. And then when you go to them, unfortunately, I also have the same feeling and experience. When I call a technical person, he goes on technical, which I don't know head and tail of it. Okay, but I look for a project which can be implemented there. So if you start explaining what is the capacitor and all those things, come on, I don't know with you. This is what another talking to the bureaucrats in a project mode is different from talking to the technocrat. You don't need to talk about all your earthing system and all this. Simply assume that he knows everything. How to make it workable at the field level?
Yes,
that you have to go.
Yes.
Okay. Please. I think that is why I volunteered that I will like to interact with the people who are all there at some time, and then there is a method of dealing with the government. At least I will I don't say teach. I can familiarize them the way to take it forward.
That's good. Thank you, Amal. It's a very good. You have given us opportunity.
Dr. Syed, I have a question.
Who is that? Can you tell me your name, please?
Manjeet.
Manjeet, please go ahead. Manjeet, go ahead. Go ahead. Manjeet.
Okay.
Manjeet Singh.
Sir, he got disconnected.
Oh,
go ahead.
He
go
ahead. Spoke very loudly.
I think he will connect again. I think that 1 minute time will give him.
Let us wait for him.
Yeah, because he doesn't ask that type of questions. I know him. So, but I think there is something of till he comes back. I think the lessons what we learn actually. Yeah, Amal, you want to tell something?
Carry on, please. Carry on, please.
Oh. So what Amal is telling Amal, that's what we are trying to do here now with the webinar series. Actually, meeting all the people, talking, and specific topics we have taken theme based now. Like I told you, we tried to find out what happened in biogas. Now we are trying to find the electricity. So that's why I requested you also solar pumping. What problems you had, because it goes to the farmer directly. Till now, people are not aware of it. I've been telling almost in every meeting. These issues are there. And actually, one thing I also I think there is a team required to go with the proposal workable solutions. So we have a team called TAG, Technology Application Group, with the same people, who are interested. Everybody can join. It's not a question of a limit. Anybody who can contribute is welcome to join the TAG group. Please just put an email to anybody, ISA, anywhere you put an email, we will put you in the team. and we will come with a solution. We will come with a solution. Then we come to you. Yeah.
But Dr. Syed, there is a tag in IIT is also, no? Earlier,
This I don't know. This I don't know. This is technology application group. I don't know.
There was a group in IITs also earlier. It was.
This I don't know that. Now this was quite just. But it's good if it is there. No problem. If we can join, we have IITs everywhere. We have IIT Kharagpur. Even the director is agriculture engineer. So I think we can. That's not a problem to get through IITs. We have a lot of people from IIT. The only question is, like you told, now we have been doing research basically, and
so at IITs we called it as RUTAG, not TAG. At IITs we had a project called RUTAG, Rural Technology Action Group. So now this is like TAG, which is
only TAG. No rural.
Narendra.
Yeah.
Narendra, you have met Amal. What is your face?
Yeah.
You went to his office and met him. That I know already. You told me. I think from your Amal's cabin he called anyway. Manjit Singh has not come. Anybody can call. Anybody can call Manjit Singh, please. Dr. Manjit Singh, can you call Indramani? Because
in the meantime, somebody else can. If anybody else has a question.
Yes, Venkatraman, please. Banker. Another
question for Mr. Amal.
Yeah, please.
As a subsidiary, can NABARD not think of an organization which can help the governments to monitor the as such, whatever subsidy schemes? If they are providing 50% subsidy, it's as good as a capex by the government.
See, all that we can do, we could do is that there is a certain percentage of the total project money kept aside for monitoring. Okay, it is up to the governments, because they should not feel like we are interfering this. It is up to the individual state governments to appoint somebody to monitor. There are IITs which have been sponsored. I mean, IIT Kharagpur also monitoring some projects. IIT Chennai is monitoring some projects, etc. So there are specialized institutions. For example, when we finance something in Manar, this thing for natural resource management, there is a oceanography institute which has been put on monitoring. So monitoring is a specialized job. One institution cannot monitor everything, because that needs some certain type of a skill. So we need to network or appoint different people to monitor. All that is required is we may ensure that there is a resource available. For want of money, they cannot stop monitoring. So money is available, but it is up to the state government to appoint somebody to monitor.
Okay. Thank you. Now we will have Manjit Singh. Manjit Singh is there, but mic is not connected.
I think he said all right. He will send a question.
Okay. Okay. Then I think we have no more questions. Anybody, Dr. Gajan Singh, you want to conclude? You have something to say? End of the session.
I think today's presentations were excellent, and we have to. I think we clearly identified the monitoring area. And I think that will require all kind of technology, administrative management, all skills will be needed for that one. So I think let us see a active and effective TAG group.
That's good. Thank you. So Indramani, can you thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm really, as Professor Singh said, I'm also very happy today, and there were some very good carry home message, and one was that solar system cost is decreasing from rupees per 100 rupees 100 per watt to coming to rupees 50, and if we go further, and we can reach a stage where subsidy is not required, because subsidy, as Professor Singh always mentions, so subsidy is the main enemy of stopping this technology to go to the farmer's field. And someday should come that this technology becomes so cost effective that we can see that they reaches by their own, without any support. Number one. Number two, I'm very happy that Amol made a very good intervention, and that's how application and technology, we got, came to reality. So one of his questions that anybody has experience with the state government. Yes, we at IRI have experience with 3 governments, and one with the UP state, another with Orissa government, and another with the NFL. And we gave the technology, and from all the 3 states and agencies, we got more than 1 crore rupees fund, and we installed the technology. So this is really very interesting what you made mention, that we have to interact with the state government, and we have to convince that how these technologies can benefit them. They are all taker of this. And it was a wonderful session today, and next will be on 29th, and